Welcome to this week's video, guys, and today we are down in the Portishead area in Bristol to shoot a little lesser known location, but that's not the main purpose of this video. This video, yes, it's a what's in my bag, but this is more about what isn't in my bag. For the last 18 months, I've been carrying a very minimal setup, and every photo that I've taken has been taken using it. It's my hope that once you see how minimal my setup is, that gear acquisition syndrome will hopefully be eradicated from your mind. That being said, I do have a bit of a thing for a good tripod.
Good afternoon everyone, and welcome to a sunny day here at Portishead near Bristol. And as the title of the thumbnail will have told you, I'm going to do a what's in my bag video, or should I say bags. Well, I know these videos are a bit cheap, definitely been overdone, but I was wanting to make a video that talked about the camera equipment that I've been using over the last 18 months, and I couldn't really find a way that I wanted to do it. So I thought I'll do what's in my bag. And I'll explain to you why, because I think I'm in a slightly more unique position than most. Every time you see these videos, there's a plethora of goodies that you guys want to have a look at. Unfortunately, that's not going to be this one. We'll do some photography afterwards as well, because I've come down to Portishead to a little location that I've toyed with shooting before. I've done the Severn Bridge and I've done Blacknor Lighthouse, and this location is right between the two. In fact, if you're going to shoot Blacknor Lighthouse, then this one, literally up the road, probably about 10 minutes away, and you can get both in a day comfortably. So let's get started with this, and we're going to start with tripods, primarily because I'm going to have to switch between the two that I use to be able to make this vlog. Right, let's start with my main tripod. So this is a Benro Rhino tripod, and it's the FRHN34C. Now, I bought this in a replacement for my Winston tripod by Three Legged Thing, and I've got to admit, between the two, this is definitely superior. Now, differences between the two: the Winston is a lot taller, but I had a lot of problems with it in terms of the legs. They go loose and floppy. The internal workings for the legs, the little plastic shims that are in them, they broke as well. Yeah, it's become a bit of an ornament in my living room. Now, the one thing that I did keep from the Winston, which I did buy separately, 3-inch spikes. And these are totally invaluable. They really do dig in when you're in ferns or mossy ground, when you're in the woodland, or if you're in the beach, you can really get a good 3 inches down before the tripod goes in. And yeah, it gives you good stability and a good anchor point. Now, the other thing I like about this tripod is the thickness of the legs. Even though it's a 3-piece, I believe that the bottom ones, and I will put it on the screen, they still come in at about 22 mil, which is the same thickness of leg as my Winston was, and that was a 2-piece. So these top sections, they're actually slightly thicker, I believe. It obviously splays out in 3 ways, but you've got push button control, so it locks. You can then anchor it up, press the button, and it will click down through. That's brilliant. That's something I didn't have on the Winston. It was kind of like a push system. You'd flip it down and then wiggle it up and down, and then you'd have to push it back in, and it really wasn't that good. So that's definitely an improvement. This is slightly heavier, I believe, with the ball head it came with, and this ball head 10 times better than the one that came on the Winston. I'm really not selling the Winston to you, but yeah, it's a really good quality, nice and smooth. It tightens, it doesn't drop. I was getting some dropping with the Winston's head. I can't remember, I think it's called the Airhead, I believe. I'll put it on the screen. But yeah, no, none of that with this. you'd get it so that it was semi-tight, align your composition and just tighten off. Yeah. But then I'm not using a big heavy lens anymore, so that may have a little bit of influence on that. The other thing with this tripod is the center column. Now, if you can see that, it's really thick. So where I lost height with the Winston, this one, okay, it doesn't go as tall, but it still goes above my head with a nice thick sturdy center column. So it's not that bad, to be quite honest. When you're at full height and you're still trying to do long exposures, it's still fairly decent. I've not really noticed any situation where I'm getting any sort of soft shots because of the wind, where I wouldn't have got them with the Winston. So there you have it. There's my main tripod. And it does also have 3 points there that you can attach a magic arm to, which the Winston doesn't. Now, I did buy one more accessory for this. In fact, I didn't buy it. My son got it me for Father's Day, but I did request it. And that's a stubby version of the center column. So just screw out the center column as you would with any other. Sounds squeaky, doesn't it? Take the base off, slot in this one, and then you can get really low to the ground. But it does also come with a built-in stand, like that. So yeah, you can take this little hook off, which carries your bag when it's in there. And you can then mount your camera directly on the floor. The only thing I will say is it's kind of got no adjustment for locking it on uneven ground, so it's a nice touch. Okay, before we move on to the next tripod, I will say that the maintenance on the Benro, it requires a lot less for some reason. It seems to withstand stuff more. If you're out at the beach, you've got to do it every time anyway. That's just common practice. But yeah, I don't have to clean it half as often as I had to clean the Winston in normal use. So, tripod number 2, and that is the Coman Zero. And this is my vlogging tripod stroke travel tripod. Fairness, don't really use it much for photography. I have used it on occasion because the legs are very thin, but this has been brilliant for vlogging. It's lightweight, it's 4-sectional, it doesn't have your twist grips, but it does have clips. Maintenance wise, I've never taken it apart because I don't really use it that much in the beach unless I'm going to extend the leg. So I try to avoid getting anything coming up into the top section. I wouldn't know how you take it apart. It looks like it's an Allen key, possibly. I'll broach that when I need to be quite honest, because it doesn't need cleaning at the moment. Center column is very thin, as you can see, but it does have a built-in ball head. So you just flip up that, center column will rise, and then you've got a built-in ball head. Like that, has a level. In fairness, there's not really much more to say about it. The one thing I will say, if you were to use it as, you know, your main tripod, it does get a bit stiff on the center column because it's a triangle, and for some reason it can bind. But for the practical use I have for it, which is vlogging, it's absolutely perfect. I can just extend the center column should I need to, and it becomes effectively a selfie stick. But yeah, great for its intended use, which is lightweight travel and vlogging. Okay, so that's tripods covered. Let's get into the meat and potato of it. Let's start talking about camera equipment. Now, this isn't going to take that long because, like I said, I've got a bit of a different viewpoint compared to most. I try to be minimalist. Okay, this is my preferred bag. As you can see, it's really small, so that is why this isn't going to take very long, because I don't carry as much as most people do. And that is the main reason why I wanted to do it as an in the bag thing, because I wanted to explain to you about my camera setup. it's very minimalist. So let's start with the ancillaries that I carry. So we've got in the bag, if I can undo it, there we go, a couple of lens cloths. Now these are bamboo lens cloths, so they're much better than the microfiber ones, you know, the fluffy ones, because they're absorbent. You don't get any dust buildup in them that, well, if you do, just shake it out. And they dry really quickly and they just keep going. So these, fantastic. Cost me about £15 for 6. But if you look at the size of it, that's that one. That's one of the 3 smaller ones. The other ones are about twice the size, so you can cut them up. So that's lens cloths. I have a power bank, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I'm not sure where this came from. It's 22.5 watts, but I can recharge the batteries for my camera about 5 times with it. So fantastic. And obviously I can charge all my other stuff, my vlogging gear and that sort of thing. So that's amazing. Spare batteries. I carry 2 spare batteries for my camera. One for the drone and of course for the vlogging camera. Then we've got 2 SD cards. I recommend, if you're going to buy the Sandisk, that's the only ones I've ever used, to get the Extreme Pros, because they do shoot the 4K footage that goes in a drone if you've got one, whereas the other ones, the lower end ones, they don't seem to work. Don't know why. Shutter release, very important that. If I'm trying to shoot, say, some waves coming in over a rock, then if I'm shooting at about 1/3 of a second or half a second, I want to be away from the camera and I want to be able to catch it at the right time. So having a delay, that's useless. And yeah, I don't get any camera shake from pressing the button. So shutter release. What else have we got? Not much. Because we're now getting into the crux of it all, which is filters and camera. Right, let's talk about filters. So this is all of my filters. As you can see, they stack nicely into a little, what looks like a CD case, but it's a bit smaller than that. It's a case that they came in, and each filter came in one of these cases, and I just slightly modified it, took a bit of the foam out the bottom, and I could stack the whole lot in one. So very compact. And if you're wondering why there's Velcro on the back there, it's so it sticks to the side of the bag. That way it doesn't fall out when I'm opening my bag on a load of rocks in the middle of the sea, and they go flying away. So that's why I've put the Velcro on the back of those. In terms of the ones I use, now I've had these, well, this is my second set of them, but I've used the Freewell filters ever since I started using filters. They're magnetic. The system I don't think is available anymore. I think you can kind of buy them separately, but as a kit I don't think they come anymore. I carry obviously a polarizer. I carry a 3-stop, a 6-stop and a 10-stop, and at some stage I'll probably invest in a 15-stop as well. Yeah, served me very well. I think the polarizer is coming towards the end of its life on the coating, so that's going to need replacing shortly, but that's all I carry, and that covers everything I need to be able to do, to be quite honest, in one really compact, easy to access setup. So that's my filters. In terms of like color cast and all that sort of thing, well, I can't compare them to another set because I've never used another set, but I've really not noticed anything that certainly you couldn't fix in post-production. Yeah, so there's your filters. Okay, the meat and potatoes of it all, the camera and the lens. And you heard me right there, it is just one lens. That's all I've carried now for the last 18 months. Now, I used to carry 3 lenses. I used to carry a 16-30, a 24-70, and a 70-300 on my old Canon setup. But I made a conscious choice to step down to this level of equipment, to lighten my bag so that I could definitely go further. If I wanted to go up mountains, it would be lighter. I'd be able to manage more. After all, a bit of an old fart now who's put on weight. So this has served me really well. So it's the Nikon Z7ii combined with the Nikkor 24-200 f4-6.3. Now, I know other people use this lens, so Stuart McGlennan, Nigel Danson, Mally Davis. So don't think that this is a poor lens, even though it is relatively cheap, and it's a bit of an all-in-one. Now, I've spent 18 months now with this as the only lens I own, and it served me really well. And that's the reason I've done this video, because I just wanted to show people that you don't need to invest heavily in gear to be able to go out and do landscape photography. Fantastic. Now, that's the lens. The Nikon Z7ii, I went for that because there were two features within it that I really wanted, and that was focus stacking. So I've got it set up on a button on the front, so all I do is press it and it sends me straight into the menu. I select how many shots I want, focus on my start point, press the shutter, and off it goes. The other thing was it's dynamic range, and it's 45 megapixels of goodness. And it also does exposure bracketing as well. So they were the features that I really wanted in the upgrade for the camera, and it's got it all. So my whole setup is in my hand. That is all of my camera equipment right there. Oh, I should mention that I've also got an L bracket, courtesy of Mr. Paul Baker, very kind man, sent me that through for no reason whatsoever, just out of the generosity of his good heart. So yes, an L bracket, another invaluable tool for being able to flip from landscape to portrait very easily. And that is why the bag that I showed you at the beginning is my preferred bag, because everything fits within it. Nice lightweight setup. The travel tripod will comfortably go on the bottom of the bag as well. The big tripod will go on the bottom, but I prefer to carry it. So let me show you the bags and let's get off and do some photography. Okay, bag number one. It really is compact. Now, I do have to mention I did forget something. I carry a head torch as well. Now, I think I got this from Go Outdoors. It's rechargeable, works really well. Everything I need in a head torch, to be quite honest. I think it costs about £15. So back to the bag. There you go, compact. Now, it's a shoulder bag, fits on like that, but the beauty of it is you can swing it round and access the compartments, just like that. There's my camera, gone back. So not only is it small, lightweight, it's really, really accessible. It does come with one of those little plastic hoods, which tucks into the back here. If I pop that out, you can see that in there. So you do get some weather protection. I wouldn't say it's actually waterproof itself, not at all, but I don't think any of them are. So they all get supplied with these rain covers. If they made the bags waterproof, that would be fantastic, because when you've got those covers on, well, everything runs down your back anyway. So yeah, two compartments. The first one I just showed you has got the camera in it. Second compartment, lens cloths, power bank, batteries, shutter release, and there is some SD cards in there because I've tucked them in there, but they normally go in the front. So that's that. And as you can see, easily accessible. On the front you've got a pouch. There's my filters, and that's where I normally keep my SD cards. And that all buckles in so it doesn't fall open when you're traveling. Fantastic, love it. And do you know what the kicker is with this bag? It was either £5 or £9.99 from Temu or somewhere like that. My wife got it, and it's been fantastic. As you can see there, we've got the tripod holder on the bottom. So yeah, it doesn't get much easier than this. This was the whole point of me doing this video, was to show you just how compact landscape photography can be. And if you follow some of my videos, you'll see the shots that I can get. I do have one caveat though. I really miss a wide angle lens. Other than that, I've missed nothing else. It's been fantastic, absolutely fantastic. If I want a little bit extra reach, well, I've got 45 megapixels. You know, as long as I'm making the conscious decision myself that that's what I'm going to do when I take the shot, then I can't see anything wrong with a bit of cropping. But yeah, so that is my camera setup. Now, you will have seen I had 2 bags. So this is the Lowepro 450 AW BP 450 AW Flipside Trek. Only reason I still carry that, all the bloody vlogging equipment I've got to carry. But this isn't about that. So you've seen what I've got. Let's see if we can go and get something with it. Okay, so let's see if we can test out the versatility of this. It's actually gone a little bit nippy now. It's a beautiful evening. Look at that. Bit blue sky though. Right, well, our first composition, right out of the 24mm range. Using this rock here in the foreground, lighthouse in the background. So there we are, a nice wide shot. Shot this at about 1/3 of a second to try and get a little bit of motion in the water. Not sure if I did or not because it's coming in so quick, my trainers are now soaked. So there we are, shot number 1. Haven't had to change a lens, and this tide's coming in so quick, even all the earwigs are doing a runner. And I've got to get away quick. Now, okay, so these really aren't the most amazing shots in the world, but I did want to show you just how versatile this setup is. So we were just down there on the beach, and now I'm going to go from the 24mm I was shooting to my 200mm and see if I can get something a little bit closer on that lighthouse, handheld. So we've gone from 24mm and we're out to, where are we? Somewhere around the 160mm mark. And if I go right into 200, right about there. And there we go, another shot in the bag. That wasn't very good, but it's as quick and as easy as that. So like I said, I procrastinated over coming down to this location because I wasn't sure of the subject. It's a very industrial lighthouse. It's right on the end of the outcrop, so you've not got any waves lapping around it. But I was hoping that I could get a nice shot looking down the throat of it, and hopefully some sunset colour behind. It's possible tonight, you know. Okay, I've come precariously perched down on some rocks right by the lighthouse, and where am I at? I'm bang out at 24mm again. So this one I'm going to pop on the 10 stop. I've got it set to 1/8 of a second, so that should give me a 2-minute exposure. Now I've got some rocks fairly close to me in the foreground, and I've got some rocks in the midground, and I've got some obviously the lighthouse in the background. Whilst I'm here, I might as well quickly grab a portrait version as well, zoomed in on the lighthouse. What do you reckon? Well, I actually quite like the compositions from down here. They're not too bad at all. It's a lot better than I thought I was going to get. The shot that I was looking at when I was studying the area was actually standing right up against the lighthouse and, you know, getting that wide angle perspective. So let's get up there, get the shot looking down this gangway, which is what I thought it would be. But because the sun's setting directly behind it, I don't think it's going to work. Yeah, I figured the sun would be slightly more off to the right and give me some side light. It might work. The sun's setting behind it and you've got colour either side. So let's give this a go. This is going to be wide and using this railing as a leading line. Because I can block the sun using the actual lighthouse, it's actually taking away a lot of the dynamic range and I won't be silhouetting so much. And I just bumped into a really lovely chap. Tom, behind me there. Wave, Tom! That's Tom. Nice to have met you, Tom. Well, I think we're going to get probably a little bit of afterblush. As you can see, the sun's setting over there, but it's going to go down behind the mountains. So if I've got time, I'm quickly going to grab a shot down here and see if I can get some of this light that's reflecting on the rocks. And I think that's going to be the last shot of the day. Well, unfortunately, I didn't quite get down here in time to catch the light that was on the rocks. The sun just dipped behind those mountains, I'm assuming, over there. I'm part of Wales. So, yeah, I lost the glistening rocks. But we did get a nice bit of colour in the sky. So, I think that's it. I'm going to take one more, just to show the versatility of this lens. 200mm, just those mountains. Why not? It's not as if I've got to change a lens to do it. And there we go, 1.6 second exposure, 200mm, zoomed in on the mountains. And as you can see, the light really hasn't changed that much, so yeah, it's that quick. I can't see any birds. Oh, I've got to admit, I wouldn't have a clue because I do landscape photography. I'm not a birder, but well, that's me all done here at Battery Lighthouse. Just got a bit of afterglow going on. Everything's packed up into my little bag, which I haven't had to take off my shoulders for the whole time I've been shooting. And yeah, I don't feel any weight on my back either. It's not too bad in terms of weight. So hopefully this has given you some insight into the amount of kit I carry. and how minimalist it is. You don't really need everything on the planet to be able to shoot landscape photography. In fairness, if you can forego just those wide angle shots, then that 24-200 is the perfect companion for you. Right, well, it was a pleasure to meet Tom earlier. Hope you got some inspiration from a couple of the videos for the local area, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you then.